What's up, my good people? We are back again. I was about to start saying, we are back again with another video. We are back again with another, we are back again. Welcome to the Youth Care Podcast.
Listen, William Kale, when you're editing this, you need to put the
He has to. But for those of you that do not know our names, my name is Esther Mega, and of course that's my amazing co-host there. That is George Samuel Piri. And today, I'm excited about today. I don't remember it because we ain't gonna say it. If there's one thing I know, it's I will laugh at myself first before you do it.
We listen.
We don't judge. But today we are joined by Mutale Chupa, who is a psychologist and licensed therapist and running a counseling corner.
Yeah,
so and I love the fact that today we're talking about self-esteem. Listen, I love this topic. Okay, so self-esteem and positive body image, because you are beautiful, you are gorgeous. One of my, please don't listen to them, alright? But also, we just want to know the impact of media and societal expectations on body image and how youths can cultivate a positive self-image and healthy self-esteem. Because there's a certain standard where people say, no, this body is the beautiful one, this one is not.
Yeah.
We are not talking about that today. We're going to help you know how to have a positive self-image as well. So welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm loving the energy, by the way.
Thank you. We're about to be a whole lot random.
Right? She has no idea. She's going to talk.
She just said I think in my energy, it's so good.
I'll survive. I'll manage.
The energy, you saying that is your threeness at swag.
But listen, this year has been really tough.
Yeah.
Especially on my colleague. First off,
her
height. Even if she gets upset, she can't beat anybody. She can't fight. Like
I'm
her,
sorry.
her arms are really short, so legs are short too. And
You realize you're not tall yourself. Right?
Linga,
Okay.
can I open up on your behalf?
Okay, go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
So it's been really tough because she's been harboring like all of these emotions
Right.
on the inside of her now. It's been a tough year. What would you recommend for Malinga to just, calm down and chill and make her realize that she'll never be tall?
Right.
She should love herself the way that she is.
Okay. So what Mulenga needs is what we call a positive body.
I love how they're talking about me like I'm not seated right next to them.
There's a
Oh, okay.
So what Mulenga needs is she needs to develop what we call a positive body image. So this is basically when a person comes to the acceptance of their physical appearance. You accept what you see, you love what you see. And that means you accept whatever it is that you have going on, whether or not there are some like imperfections. You understand that this is the body I have. And you accept it.
I love the fact that it starts with accepting the type of body that you have and accepting it and loving it, so on and so forth. But also, how does media, and by media I mean general, TV, magazines, radio, social media, how does the representation of beauty and of course the body ideals that are put out there as well impact a youth's self-perception and of course a body image? How does that impact youths?
Okay, so one thing I can say about the societal, like the media portrayal of beauty and all those things, one thing you can say you've observed is that changes.
True.
Like with every generation, it's a different thing. Like when I was coming up, being skinny and slender and having, nice long hair, like that was the thing. But now we hear things like, somebody has to be thick manana, like, so it changes and it changes. So number one, you need to understand that these things change. There's nothing that's permanent. So when you understand that, number one, these things are always changing depending on what's popular and trending. And number two, you have to understand that what these people are showing you on the TV, what they're showing you on social media, on these platforms is like, there's perfect lighting, there's filters, there's makeup, there's stylists picking out these clothes and everything. It's a brand. It's money. Like it's money for them. So, and you might not have that. And you're looking at that and you end up comparing yourself, right? And you might not have that. And so you need to understand that to a certain extent, some of those things are unrealistic, and you should prevent yourself from comparing, and you should actually focus more on what works for you. You should focus more on how you can appreciate what you have. Because, not, and some of these people, they've gone under the knife, they've gone for surgeries and, facelifts and stuff.
Botox.
Yes, and you're wondering like, oh my gosh, her lips are so much fuller than mine.
But is it natural?
No, but being into this question,
Yeah.
with the type of work that we do a whole lot of research around entertainment. And recently there was a story about Ice Spice. I don't know if you've heard of Ice Spice. Oh yeah, she's a rapper. She's the first rapper that has gone for reduction surgery, butt reduction surgery.
Oh, that's different.
Which brings me to my question over societal expectations, because it's making like so much noise around social media. This is the first one. Most female rappers would go
For like,
the BBL or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But then what role does, society's expectations, especially if you are at a certain pinnacle, play in shaping your attitudes towards body, as or appearance?
Yeah. So one thing I think I can also note is that when these people in the media are trying to package someone or something, they first refer to what is it that the masses
like it.
Yes, like what do they like? So in a way, societal expectations also shape that's why it looks weird to everyone that she went for a reduction, because everybody's always like, go big or go home, Yeah. So number one, you have to understand that society as well. When we say society, we're talking about what you're experiencing in real time, what you're experiencing at school, what you're experiencing at home and stuff like that. So there's a lot of comparison there as well. Teachers compares students and kids. No, why can't you be more like that one? Why are you so, some people are just like, we develop at different rates. So, and society doesn't understand that people develop at different rates. Sure. Even parents compare their kids. So it still comes back to comparison, and that does have a negative impact and effect on a person. That's why, again, developing a positive body image can really, really, really help you. Because even when like they're comparing you to your sister, they're comparing you to your friend, you have an understanding. You took time to work on it and understand that this is what I get, this is what I have. I'm not going to have anything else.
How does one develop a positive body image?
Right.
Because you keep talking about developing a positive body image, but how does one reach that stage? Because you don't just wake up and say, okay, now my body image is developed, it's positive, right? You don't do that. So how does one work towards that?
Well, the first thing, like you guys are saying, talking about my body image is supposed affirmations, right?
You are beautiful.
Exactly. You need to learn to talk to yourself the right way, right? You need to. I'm handsome. I have the best hair. Like, oh, like you have like locks. Like, oh, these are the best locks.
It's too late. A therapist co-signed my locks.
Right? So number one, you have to be kind to yourself, be compassionate. And usually when somebody comes in with this issue for therapy, I would ask them, okay, just imagine it was someone else who was having these image issues, who didn't like the way they looked. How would you talk to them? And usually people just instantly become so compassionate and nice.
So why are people so mean to themselves?
Like, why are you so mean? Why are you telling yourself you're ugly? Why are you telling yourself you're not good enough? But if it's the next person who is in the same situation, all of a sudden you're nice. Or one of the reasons is because you don't want an altercation. You understand? Yeah. Right? You might have to throw some hands then. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you think it.
Yeah. So you might have to, you might get it. So people try it. And also just being like, I don't want to be the jerk. I don't want to be the one to tell this girl that, let me tell her, let her work on her. It's not that bad. Sure, you have acne. It's not that bad, But you have to talk to yourself nicely. That's number one. And number two, you really need to unplug from what's in the media and what's happening in society. Yeah, because that's one thing I also needed to mention when you talked about societal expectations. We see that these are shaped by, like, we see that that society rewards certain types of looks. They reward them with compliments. They reward them with followers and likes. You understand? And young people are seeking validation, right?
Oh, true.
You're seeking what better way than to
That
change
have
yourself?
thousands of followers.
Yes, than to change yourself to look like what everybody is saying. Oh, she looks so nice, and sometimes it can be a very brutal process. Imagine you are a dark-skinned chocolate person, and then
Imagine Mulenga likes
you want to be light-skinned.
I love the fact that you say that, but I also want to know what role then can parents also help in this process of developing a positive self-image? Because you're speaking of all this, there's a point that you raised where you say even parents compare you to your sisters. Exactly. Like growing up, I had like distant family members that would be like, you should, never try bleaching some such can look like your mother and your sister and everything.
So sorry about
no,
that.
trust me, I had an amazing dad. Thanks, Dad. Like
Dad saved the day.
yes, like every time you hear somebody saying that, he literally scored them and said, don't say that to her.
Yeah.
And you call me and start telling me, baby, you're beautiful, like you understand. So
She answered their own question.
I answered my own question, but
Yeah.
we want to hear it from the therapist or the
Right.
doctor certified.
Right. Okay, sure. So number one, I think when it comes to the question of identity, because every person has to answer that question. You have to answer the question of identity in your life, the question of who am I, right? And the question of purpose. Why am I here, right? And so young people are like on a constant search for that. So as parents and educators, we need to make sure that we bring ourselves forward and provide that. There's a hunger for that. They want to know. That's why they are following the Ice Spice and all these different people, because people like her and she has some accomplishments and she has all these different things. So if I try to be like, so that's a role model, right? If I try to be more like her,
Maybe I'll get the followers that she
yes.
has.
So circling back to family, parents, especially in Africa, we have an authoritative style of parenting. Lots of parents do this, do that.
Because I said so.
Yes, like it's a master type of thing. Like, how dare you question me? What do you mean? Do I have to do that? Right? So we need to exercise some compassion, and we need to also take time to learn and understand your child. Right? Some children are more sensitive than others. You might have to be gentle with them. Other kids, if you're too gentle, they won't take you serious. So you might have to be stern. So
it's also about knowing the type of child.
you need to know your child. You need to know your child's personality. You need to know their inclinations. You need to know how they make decisions, their thought process. Yeah. And you can't if you don't spend time with them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, there's some negative messages that
Right.
I should believe that everybody's got to deal with. Negative affirmations. Do you call them affirmations if they're negative?
No, it's not enough. It's not
What fails are they?
You're being mean to yourself.
Or you're just being mean to yourself. Because I'll double back to the issue of parents.
Yeah.
And that's because parents do play a key role in how a child is raised. When it's more to school,
Like well, we saw.
or something like that. They'll say all those things. And when you grow up, you are always aware or alert of these
Becomes self-conscious.
Yes, like me as a big grade, my mom said it.
to the point that even how you relate in society has become extremely flawed, and you can't necessarily control how you want to become now that you've been exposed to the world, because that's your truth, or the truth that your parents have embedded in you is that you are ugly.
Yeah.
So now when you hit the world, you want to come to a place where I can be beautiful like everyone. But how can young people deal with these negative
No, for the
the negativity? Especially that now they are growing up. They need to build on something that's positive and something that's good. How can they deal with the negatives?
Right. So, for number one, you need to sort of make peace with your past and make peace with the family that you were born to and the kind of parents you have. You can't choose. We can't choose.
You can't.
Right? Like, that would be Elon Musk's daughter. You know what I mean? If I could choose.
Yeah, I would be Elon Musk.
Barack Obama.
Wow.
Hi, Dad.
I mean, okay, no, me, that's extreme.
What comes with my dad?
You know,
Okay, I'm gonna keep quiet
crying
now.
now. This is the self-image issue.
You have to accept. See, that's the point.
Why is kuwa being a way?
That's the point. That's the case in point, right? You were born in that family. You were born in that socio-economic situation. You have to accept that. Now, you make peace with it. This is the mother I was given. She's not always saying nice things about it. Let me just accept and forgive and move on from that.
Yeah.
Right? Because that bitterness and resentment that you might be harboring might get in the way of you developing it's like you're hearing someone's words playing in your head. Like you're trying to, oh, I'm beautiful, and then you remember that day
That you might have told you auntie. You know? I need that. And actually, that because I also want to ask about the role that supportive relationships and positive role models play into this. Yes, I see. Yeah.
You're right.
What role do they play?
Yeah. So before I get to that, let me just conclude my previous point.
Yeah.
So after you make peace and you forgive everybody that hurt you and called you all those things, you now have to embark on a journey that is centered on you. That means you need to check out from the social media. You need to check out from society. You need to develop a broad understanding of bodies, of images, right? Because when you're looking at Instagram and all these different things, you only ever see one type. There's what they call the Instagram face. I don't know if people are aware of that.
There's an Instagram face. There's an Instagram face.
Yeah, yes.
What's an Instagram face?
It's a perfect face. You won't see any acne on this face. The hair is always
The nose, scented
like the nose is like is it symmetrical?
Yes, like it's a
You should give your attention. Instagram face, yeah.
Like the lips are pouty cherry. Like
yes,
But
there's
yes.
that Instagram face, and when it's like you're only seeing one type of image.
Yeah.
Right? You need to now get out and educate yourself, and the best is to look at what's happening in reality. When you just go to ShopRite, you see some people are chubby, some people are slim, some are tall, some are short.
Here representing for all the shorties, short people.
Yes, so and like when you develop that broad understanding, like, okay, not everybody is that curated, perfect, whatever. So I'm not an outlier. I'm not awkward or different. This is normal, you understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, when you need to check like your source of what is feeding into what shapes your perceptions. Yeah. So the second question was the support system, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What role does that play? It goes a long way to have someone there with you in a moment when you're down.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're having a really bad day, like, or maybe like you're walking from school and a bunch of preschool kids, like, because you know how they are, they start laughing at you.
Kids are mean.
Yeah, kids can be really mean. You're walking home and they laugh at you. Oh, do good day, like,
Malinga Kenele, she's bullied by high school kids
what?
because she looks like a kid.
No, I think stop misleading the people. You were saying, please.
Right.
You're not being open with your therapist. I wish.
Right. So, in an event that someone finds themselves in a situation, maybe they have a bad day, they are bullied, someone said something to them, like, they're just not feeling pretty that day. And having like a friend or a relative to encourage you and pick you up really goes a long way. In fact, psychology studies show that people that have social support manage stressful situations and calamities in life better than those who are alone and isolated. So it's important for you to have a support system, and it can't just be everyone. You just don't pick people willy-nilly. Like, no, since they said I need to have a support system.
I mean, Tali is the therapist. She said I need support.
Yeah, like, no, let me just get any, you need to get someone who is trustworthy, someone who won't go around telling your business.
Won't be a rumor long.
Exactly. Someone who won't go around telling stories about, can you imagine? She thinks, what she told me.
Why does this feel like you guys are relating? You know why? Like, the two of you are relating.
No, I'm just describing what you need.
Yes. But describing some people in society.
Some people out there. You can't trust everyone, right? So you need to look for someone wiser, someone who actually cares about you, right? And sometimes you can be a parent, depending on the kind of relationship or somebody at church, or a guidance counselor,
Or your sister.
or your sister,
brother.
or your brother. Yeah, like someone you know that this person genuinely cares at me. Open up, talk about this is what I'm experiencing and feeling, and it goes along. They might not know what to do or what to say, but just knowing that someone listens to me, someone gave me a hug, during like a meltdown or whatever, it goes a long way.
And I also think, even as we're closing, I think it's like a really important piece that you have shared. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and not somebody who say, I have the solution. Just listen,
Yeah.
be quiet.
And don't judge.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Listen, we don't judge here. But I feel like we should do something really cool so that we can also set an example before we leave. I feel like let's practice some
Trauma dump?
No, let's practice some self-esteem, some body.
I want to
I want you to say something positive about yourself.
Oh, it doesn't work on me.
I want you to say something positive about yourself. She'll say something positive about herself. Also something positive about myself as well, as we are closing today's podcast, so that at least we set the example of what we're talking about. Isn't it? Doesn't that sound like a great idea? That's a great idea. So Jen's first.
Yeah, Jen's first. My trauma dump is that when I was a kid, I was a young boy. That was a really bad experience. Okay. I have a lovely accent, and I have great hair.
Okay, that's a good one. And I know about the hair. I always hear it. So I've heard the new one today that she have a lovely accent.
I've been bullied for my accent for years.
Wait, so it's like a nut? Okay, sorry. Yeah.
It is. It really is. I have been bullied for it for years.
See, we are setting the example. Look at him accepting
I've
himself.
overcome that.
Yeah. Let's hear from Mutale as well. Yes, so putting you on the spot as well.
Right.
Even though you have a specialist in this situation.
So my affirmation will be in line with body image. I accept my body. I love my body. This is the only body I'll ever have. I was born in this body. I'll die in this body. The body is me. I am the body. And I accept it no matter what I see, no matter how I feel. It is beautiful. It's amazing. I feed my body good food. I make my body run around and do exercise so that I can be healthy and happy. Yes. There you go.
How do I top that?
She's a professional.
How do I top that?
There is no topic there.
I think thank you so much for joining us. Let me see. I am smart. I am brave. I am strong. I am beautiful.
Yeah.
Give you Disney character, but that's all from us, folks. Thank you very much for joining us on the Youth Care Podcast. Thank you, Mtale, for joining us. Our guest has been Tale Chupa. She is a psychologist and licensed therapist from the Counseling Corner, which is a therapy firm. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Youth Care Podcast.
Bye.